Yeah, indeed. Welcome to the jungle. That's it. I felt like I'm introducing a Guns N' Roses concert, but I'm certainly not. That is not something I'm doing this morning. I'm introducing the World Forestry Congress that's taking place here. It's the 14th one, a vitally important one for South Africa and for Africa in general. It's the first time that this is actually being hosted here on the African continent, and I think it's so important when you look at the amount of forests that we do have on the continent, never mind on the continent, but here in South Africa, and the magnificence of them. You heard from the minister, we need to promote them, we need to talk about how important they are for us, and of course for communities and tourism and untapped potential that they have. So we're looking forward to hearing more about them. So joining us now to talk about the Congress, well, I suppose just to give you a little bit of background, this Congress is hosted every 6 years, and it has happened since 1926, so it's lovely that we're to be a part of it. The last one was held in Argentina, and that was back in 2009, so Durban is the host now. And to tell us a little bit more about it, I'm joined by Trevor Abrams, who is the General Secretary of the event. Together with Trevor, I'm also joined by Jeff Campbell. Now, Jeff is going to look more at the local communities, how they benefit from it, and the fact that they're going to have a huge involvement in this year's Congress that's going to focus on socioeconomic development and food security. Gentlemen, so lovely to have you, and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Leanne. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. I'm very good. Jeff, welcome to you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, let's start off with you, Trevor, and let's talk about the importance of South Africa hosting this event. So it was in Argentina last, and now Durban.
Well, we're very proud to host this, the first in the African continent, and we're assembling more than 3,000 people here. We've got our government people, we've got our academics, our students, our civil society. We really have a jamboree of forest experts gathered here. And why? Because I think it's a very critical moment in the history of this planet. Because we're really faced with certain environmental challenges in which forestry does present a very real mitigating factor. And so it's important both for South Africa, for Africa, to in fact have such an event where we're going to take our conclusions onto the international policy making at the General Assembly in New York, at the COP21 in Paris, and also in the FAO Council in December in Rome.
If we have to look at some of the pressing issues that face our forests here in South Africa, what are they? What are we going to put on the table?
Well, we have problems which are actually not necessarily unique. One, of course, is obviously destruction, either through man or through disease and fires. And, more than 50% of the loss of our forests is due to fires. So, we have got a very well-known program to deal with that. They're working on fire programs, so we're going to showcase that to the world. But I think we're also here to learn from the world in terms of what other issues. The other big issue for us is the issue of water. Yeah. Forests play quite an important and interesting role, particularly in our catchment areas. In fact, all the continuously flowing rivers in Africa come from forested areas. So, us being a water-scarce country, particularly the drought that we're experiencing, even here in KwaZulu-Natal, the forests play a very important role around catchment. Yeah. But when you get to planting, you also have to consider the balance between the water use from forest as well as agricultural and other uses. Yeah. So the kind of themes that we have at this conference are extremely relevant to what we need to hear about here in South Africa and share and learn from the delegates from other parts of the world.
And no doubt one of the biggest themes is, Jeff, what you are here really to talk about and to take a look at, and that being the socioeconomic development and food security. Food security being a major issue on the continent and in South Africa. We had the minister talking about 12 million South Africans that are affected by this and that, don't have access to food, and this could be a solution. So communities' involvement in all of this, how important is it?
Well, I think it's critical if we're to make any of the kind of gains that we hope in terms of adapting to climate change and mitigating that, in terms of food security, as you said, and in terms of the livelihoods of the millions of people who are directly dependent on forests. I think you may have seen that nearly 2.5 billion people use fuel wood to cook. Raw food is not very secure, so we would, I think, do well to remember where that fuel wood is coming from, and I think also who is producing and marketing and selling most of that fuel wood. It's almost all local community members, small producers, small traders, and by giving them more support and helping to get them organized, we can help to make sure we have a sustainable supply that fuel wood, and also have it contribute to the economy.
Yeah, I mean, the communities play such a huge role in protecting their forests and becoming almost possessive over them, because it is their livelihoods, as we're hearing from you, that a lot of us people that use these things are completely oblivious to. So it's a big education drive as well, I imagine.
Yeah, you're right. It's very, very important, and I think one has to realize that people who are, living forests for their whole lives, for centuries, have a very deep relationship to that forest. I mean, they say we know the forest, and the forests know us, and this is why I think their view is that they have probably maybe the largest investors in forests, actually, although not all their investment is in money. And how do we recognize that contribution and in turn try to support them and invest in them?
Yeah. Just finally, I know we got to wrap up on my side, but I know that you in fact had some meetings with the communities to speak about some of their issues, and I imagine it'll be brought up here at this Congress.
Yeah. I think there's a big change happening in our forestry sector. We have a number of small growers emerging, because 50 to 60% of our planted forests are subject to land claims at the moment. Yeah. So a lot of the land is going over to communities, and we do see a very new phenomenon emerging with the small growers, and we're hoping that our own small growers will be having the opportunity to interact with some of the community forest movements from the rest of the world who will be here to learn and engage with and pick up some of the lessons that they've picked up in terms of developing forests as small communities.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for talking to us. What time are we starting today?
We are scheduled to start at 8:30 with the March Pass. Lovely. Okay, thank you.
Well, we're hoping to catch that live, the March Pass happening here around the precinct of the Albert Nkosi International Convention Centre in Durban. So if you do have access to DSTV Channel 404, there is another hour coming your way. So we would love you to tune in and join us for this. And of course, as you heard, opening up the conference, the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa, is going to be doing that. So, Trevor, thank you. Good luck. Lots of work, I know, gone into the background of this one. So I hope it's a great success for you, your team, and for South Africa. And again, thank you very, very much as well, Jeff Campbell, for joining us here on the program, focusing in on the socioeconomic development and food security for communities. All right, well, I say goodbye to SABC2 viewers. I'll catch you again tomorrow bright and early, right here on your favorite breakfast program, Morning Live. So it's a big shub from all of us here in Durban, but please do tune in to Channel 404. Tsietsi, I think you got a quick weather update for us.
Yes, indeed I do, and we'll look at the satellite image. Try to get it as quick as possible. Cold front moving in past the southwestern parts of the country, bringing showers along with it towards Cape Town, so 60% chance of rain. Now, over the last week, you guys have had awesome weather, and we had some cool conditions for Gauteng. Now it's your turn again to get the cold front and possibilities of veld fires. Please do look out for those over the Eastern Cape Province. And you see clear skies for the northwest, some parts of KwaZulu-Natal, and definitely over Limpopo Province. A bit of showers are expected all the way towards the northern parts. Your temperatures, looks like it's going to be quite a warm one in KwaZulu-Natal. This is the next 5 days for Durban. Temperatures are going to be into the mid-20s. Wednesday, don't worry about it there. Looks like possibilities of rain. Up to 30% chance of showers are expected. But then clear skies are expected by Thursday, with the temperatures increasing to about 26 degrees. 28 for Richards Bay. Yeah, we're expecting it to be into the upper 20s for today. But then cold weather for the Western Cape Province. An average temperature of about 19 is expected for the Western Cape. Sutherland, 11, 25 for Uppington. And if you're going to be in Delareyville, expect a maximum of 25 degrees. Tuesday looks like it's going to be raining now towards the eastern side, especially if you're going to be over the Eastern Cape Province.